Welcome to K6 Outdoors. My name's Kyle. If you guys have been following along on the channel, there's no surprise that you know I have one of these electric heaters above here. Now, if you haven't, and you're watching this video, I'd invite you to follow along and stay up to date on the current topics we're covering here on the channel. This video is in response to some comments I've seen, and since we just went through a cold snap, I wanted to share with you guys what I experienced. Last week, we had a pretty bad storm. Here where I'm located in eastern Iowa, we had over 24 inches of snow, which was in many parts a record for snowfall in 1 week. And that's some of you up north in Canada and Wisconsin, Minnesota, Alaska. You guys are probably like, that's not much snow. Well, here it is, right? And we're not used to that amount of snow at one time. And after that storm came through, we got 50, 60 mile an hour winds. We had 15, 18-foot snow drifts in some spots where they had to bring snow plows down in. At the end of the storm, we had a cold front come through and brought a lot of cold weather. Air temps at 15 to 16 degrees below zero and wind chills down to negative 45. Reason I'm bringing that up is I wanted to share with you how much this heater ran during that time. I've seen many people say it would cost me 2 arms, 3 legs, 4 fingers, and 2 eyeballs to run that heater. And that may be the case in some situations. It just depends on what your local utility company charges you for electricity. But what I wanted to do is show you kind of how much power this unit used over that time frame, how often it ran, and maybe what you should expect to see if you had something like this. Just to level set on expectations, this is done in my garage with my specific installation setup, and it's going to vary depending upon what you're doing. My garage is insulated, so it's 2x4 exterior walls. I put R15 insulation in the walls. It's the thickest you can buy. That's spray foam for fiberglass bats to put in the walls. In the ceiling, I put R30 fiberglass insulation between the joists, and my garage door is an insulated R7 door. This is 24 foot squared. It's a big, square, and the ceiling is 9 foot tall. This is the amount of cubic feet I'm trying to heat. Pretty basic. So let's go. I have an Ecobee thermostat on the wall over here. If you guys want to see videos related to this heater and this thermostat, how it all works, I'll put some stuff down in the description below and maybe a video above here if you guys want to check that out. Really like this setup. This heater's lasted really well for me. And I really like the, how it functions with the Ecobee thermostat. So let's go inside. I'll pull it up on the computer screen here. We can look at the data, see what happened. This is happening within the last week, and see the results of what maybe you could expect here. Let's hop into our system monitoring here and take a look at the history of what we saw. Using the weather impact tab, we can go back and look at this previous time in January. On the screen here, you're going to see the actual outside temperatures with the black line. You will see heat stage 1 depicted by the yellow or light orange, depending upon what you see. And you'll see heat stage 2 depicted by the orange graph bars. On the left side is the temperature. On the right side is the hours of operation. So as you can see, the outside temperature was 15 degrees, and that heater ran about 8 hours that day. A lot. It was running quite a bit to keep up. 15 degrees below zero with 50 mile an hour winds. Really cold out. We'll dive more into the details here in a minute of actual hours of runtime, but this gives you an idea of the impact in my specific garage of temperature and runtime. Generically, it doesn't really run a whole lot, but when it gets really cold out, you'll see how much more it cycles, trying to hold that huge difference in that shop. Noting here that half of the time it runs, it's in stage 1, which is the low mode, where we're using 5,000 watts of electricity, and stage 2 here, where it is using about 7,500 watts of electricity. So we've got the data opened up here in Excel that you download off of the app. Where I got this from, we were just looking at the weather impact tab. If you go to download the data, you can select your range, download it, and open it in Excel. So to try to keep things, clear for you all, to show you what's happening. So looking at this, we have I tried to lay this out so you guys can understand how to calculate this yourself, understand how your utility rates can affect this, and those various factors. On the screen here, it'll show you the time of day which the heater ran. I hit a few cells just for the sake of trying to keep this clean. What stage of heating you're using. So this is a 2-stage heater. Obviously, like I said before, 5,000 watts is what you'll expect to see on low of power consumption, and 7,500 watts when it's on high. So we're going to go ahead and do here is I converted these seconds to hours. So this was the total seconds. We converted to hours for low. Same here for high. With a total of 10.71 hours of consumption or usage. I broke this out separately because, again, the different wattages use different amounts of power. Over here, I broke it out low and high, 5,000 watts for low, 7,500 watts for high. Why do we care about that? So when you divide by 1,000 to get you to kilowatt hours, so the amount of kilowatts you use per hour of runtime, you'll get 5 kilowatt hours and 7.5 kilowatt hours of usage. We're going to assume that 1 kilowatt hour costs us 10 cents. Now, some places it's quite a bit higher, it's quite a bit lower. We'll just say it's 12 cents because it's not a big deal to change this calculation in Excel. So for every 1 hour of this heater running on low, it costs 60 cents. For every hour the heater runs on high, it costs about 90 cents. In this situation, we took the number of hours it ran on low times the cost per hour and gives you a cost of $4.27. And then the amount of money it costs to run on high for the amount of time comes out with $3.24 for a net total of $7.51 in electricity that it took to heat that garage for that day. Now, if you were to take this over 31 days in a full month, you're going to have a pretty hefty addition to your electrical bill. But at least here in Eastern Iowa, that's not normal. I also have a solar array which controls my electrical expense because my house's energy has been figured to use that heater. So it's 100% offsetting my usage of this property. You can make the argument that gas is better, but say you get a general 45,000, 50,000 BTU furnace for your shop. Every hour of runtime, you're going to burn a half a gallon of fuel. And here, it's $1.40 per gallon for LP. So divide that in half, that's 70 cents per hour to run that gas furnace. And then you have the other things like tank rental, the other upkeep of running a vent out the roof and those types of things. So if you look at this price range here, on average, it's not a whole lot different. The average is 75 cents. Basically, for what it cost me here, LP and electric cost almost the same. Hope you guys found that helpful. Maybe informative. If you guys have questions on this, please let me know. I'll definitely do my best to try to explain this as good as I can. Just keep in mind this eco model that I have tries to utilize these low and high bands just to help save you electricity and energy. I mean, if it were trying to run in high that entire time, obviously you're going to see, it's probably going to warm up faster, but it's doing its best to save you money. Just because, again, you're looking at a 30 cent per hour difference on runtime between one and the other. And if you can do the same amount of heating in low just for slightly longer times, obviously it's going to be a little bit more cost effective. Again, let me know if you guys have any questions, any more additions you'd like to see to this, or any commentary. This was some feedback I'd seen on some videos that people were questioning and asking, does it keep up when it's super cold? Based on the results here, it'll run, 20, 30 minutes, shut off for 30 minutes to 45 minutes, depending upon how cold it is outside. So you're cycling for basically, almost half the day when it's really cold out, which isn't bad considering some houses that, when it's that cold, the furnace shuts off for 5 minutes and turns back on, and it's just burning in a ton of fuel. Again, insulation makes a difference if it's attached to the house or not. My garage is fairly well insulated, but that garage door is only an R7, which is a weak point. Generally speaking, you lose most of the heat out of the roof of your garage, so I may add a little bit more insulation in the future. Right now, it's just R30 bed insulation. So just to summarize, it runs more, obviously, than what you would expect to see on a normal day, but it did cycle on and off, and it did keep up. And in my situation, I've got this solar array in the backyard here. I produce my own power, so I kind of control my own rates. And, you know, when the solar panels are paid for, it's technically free electricity. Is there even such a thing as free? No. It was just cheaper the entire time, right? You can make the argument that once you get your return on investment, it's free, or you could just say I spent half as much electricity for the next 30 years. Anyway, hope you guys found this video informative and helpful, just to give you an idea of what you could expect your heater to run potentially in your situation. Given my parameters of this 24 by 24 garage with 9-foot ceilings, decently well insulated, that's what you could expect to happen. So more or less insulation or detached versus attached garage will help you maybe drive some more of the decision making. Again, in my situation, my only other type of, I guess, fuel source I can use because of like insurance reasons is LP. Fireplaces aren't really, or wood stoves aren't even an option. And LP is not cheap either. So for me, it's basically a break even. This has no maintenance and I just don't have to worry about it. If you guys found today's video informative and helpful, I would greatly appreciate if you hit that thumbs up button. If you didn't, give me thumbs down or 2 thumbs down, but just let me know how I can make this stuff better for you all. The intent of this channel is for myself to learn this stuff the hard way so you don't have to. Share this knowledge base to help you, save yourself money and stretch it as far as you can, because we all know things aren't getting any cheaper out there. If you're not a part of the YouTube family, I'd invite you to follow along and subscribe to the channel. It costs you guys nothing. And I will put some affiliate links down below to some different items we talk about on the channel today. If you guys do buy something through those links, I do get a small bit of commission, generally 3 to 4%, but it's of no expense to you and it's something that Amazon pays to us affiliate members as a thank you for running you through their stuff. Thanks for stopping in. Stay warm out there. We're starting to get a little bit of a thaw here in the Midwest. Any of you guys affected by this storm, I'm thinking about you all. It was a mess, and hopefully we're moving past into spring. Thanks again. Take care. Until next time, I'll see you guys.